It's tragic that, as a culture, we have the Me Too movement. The media, likes to have this facade that, they're for justice of all types, especially for
Mhm.
women, especially for minorities and others. And yet
Mhm.
the desire to keep this abortion industry running as normal, as much as possible,
Right.
it just blinds them to the fact that
Right.
there is a 15-year-old girl who's making some claims, and her abuser should end up, in a court of law and perhaps in prison. That's a real tragedy. I have to say, it's devastating to
Mhm.
hear, and you just wonder. I mean, you were there as an investigative journalist. You were there to try and uncover some of the things that were happening. But as you said, you just have to wonder how many little girls, how many young girls across the nation, perhaps
Mhm.
across the world, are in a very same situation that you were proposing. And that you were like kind of putting on yourself, but in a
Yeah.
real life situation, and they just have no way to get out. Perhaps the Planned Parenthood worker is the first person
Mhm.
they open up to because call for help
Often
maybe.
they are. Yeah.
Yeah. And what
Yeah.
do they get
Often they are.
is, we'll take your money, we'll kill your child, and we'll do everything we can to
Mhm.
silence up what you said so you can remain in the situation that you're
Right.
in, and so that abortion can remain legal with no one else challenging it. So really, really
Mhm.
devastating. Now I wonder. So you did more investigative reporting, more around the country. Were there some other things that you uncovered as well? So you talk about,
Mhm.
the child sex trafficking cover up and some of that. Were there other
Mhm.
um, revelatory moments for you as you were uncovering more and more things about Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And we've done probably 8 to 10 major national reports on different elements of the abortion industry. And investigative reporting has been, undercover reporting has been a component. And so, sexual abuse cover up was one, the cover up, aiding and abetting of sex traffickers at abortion clinics was another, medical misinformation that they tell to women pretty frequently, straight up lies about fetal development, the abortion procedure, really horrific late term abortion practices like born alive infants in abortion clinics that we've documented where the workers or the abortionists express that they would kill a born alive infant, even though, of course, that's infanticide. But, I guess it shouldn't shock that they would do this. They'd kill the same baby, minutes earlier in utero. So we've documented that. The sexual education practices that go hand in hand with abortion providers. So Planned Parenthood is one of the main sex educators in the United States, believe it or not. They receive tax money to do that. And the way that they teach sex education is not just immoral in the sense that they're promoting promiscuity and sexual deviancy, but it's physically harmful. I mean, some of the practices that they've promoted are sadomasochistic practices to young girls, risky sexual behaviors, misinformation again about the harm that early sexual exposure can cause. That's a whole other element. So I could continue on. I mean, lies about services is another investigation. We've done a lot. There's been a lot. And one of our former employees and a great friend of mine also did a phenomenal investigative report along a similar vein recently, which you guys probably saw in the last few years on exposing the body part sale and trafficking happening at abortion clinics. That's yet another element. Um, there are so many illicit and unethical practices in these abortion clinics. And then this is for a few reasons. Number one, because when you kill children, you lose a moral compass. I mean, it's very hard to maintain a moral compass when you're literally involved in killing children. Number two, state authorities, media groups, watchdog groups, they don't care. They don't really investigate abortion clinics because it's the political football or this political sacred cow of abortion. They somehow get a pass constantly. And then number three, the general taboo of abortion. People not really wanting to talk about it. It being so highly charged for people that also has prevented information from spreading. And so that's why we've done this investigative work and why I think it's so important.
Subscribe to the Pro Life Guys podcast YouTube channel for more clips like this. And for full episodes of the Pro Life Guys podcast, find us on all of your favorite podcast catchers.